we speak. Good morning, everyone. So, we will talk about how to have a right strategy. So, the question is, right, why it is important, this, and what does it mean when we say what is right strategy? So, you should know that you are appearing for, means the question comes why. Why it is so important, this, you should have a right strategy. And do you have a right strategy, means are you proceeding in right fashion when you have started this journey? So, this takes you to tell you in beginning, although you are familiar with this, that you are trying for something which is, we say IAS, and it is, we consider it, according to one ranking system, it is the third most difficult examination. This third most difficult examination in the world, not in India. The first is one Chinese, its counterpart, and second is IIT JEE Advanced, which if you are engineer, so you may have experienced both way, in preparation also as well as whether you have been engineer that way. So, this is called, let's say that you are appearing. Although in India, if you take that, so IAS remains the most preferred career. Still it is the most preferred career. And in given examination, let's say, so we can say that it is among most difficult which you are trying. Then, even if IIT JEE Advanced can be most difficult, but you should know that IIT JEE is not for getting a job. This, you are not trying that competitive examination to get a job, rather to get a degree. But here you are appearing to get a job, make a career, let's say that. There is a huge difference. Then another huge difference is that in that you can qualify, and when you qualify, so you can get admissions, if not in IITs, so in NITs and other engineering institutions. But here, if you are not in the list, so there is no NIT in IAS. That we can consider. So that is how, let's say that you are trying for, which makes it very mysterious, you can say that how, let's say that IAS we qualify, or in our society people think that becoming IAS is a very difficult task, or it is almost, let's say, a gambling, you can consider. This, by chance, by luck it happens. So it is because of that aspect, you can say. Then second important aspect is, it is the only examination left so far which is descriptive type. This means we have prelims and it is objective type. Now most of the examinations have become objective type, but then you know that mains that we have, it has become descriptive type. This, and descriptive type, you can say that most challenging, because the present generation somehow has less habit of writing. This, some can have good writing habits because of CBSE and good family background, but some are, most I will tell that most people do not have writing habits to the standard of UPSC. Let's say that essay writing. So essay writing or even answer writing means, you are graduate, but answer writing has become so popular. No, daily answer writing. Are you so weak that you need daily answer writing? That is how, because you have done your 10+2, you have done your graduation, and most of the people nowadays, they study from CBSE So it has, let's say, a bit different standard, or you can say it has a standard. So we have descriptive type mains examination, in which you have one optional subject, one essay subject. This, which I will tell you later about papers, although you are familiar, but still, that descriptive type examination makes it again less predictable. This UPSC, which you say, if you take U in UPSC, you can use in different way, right? It is union also, it is unpredictable also, right? It is ulta pulta also. This, so it is because of that, let's say, that it happens, because you can be strong in your objective types, but then the question comes, are you strong in descriptive type? So that is how it becomes challenging. Then it is the only exam, let's say, that you find which is open for all, right, in the category of 21 to 32 for general, right. So anyone can appear, right. A law graduate, a management, a BTech, right, medical science, anyone can appear. Tell me any examination where you have such open, let's say, it is so inclusive examination that anyone can appear. So here you find that from a person who may have, let's say, degree from a very ordinary type of college to a person who has a degree from premier institutions, and all are competing. This, the law graduate from a premier institution and a law graduate from an ordinary college. This, so all are competing in this, in the, let's say that this range of 21 to 32 years. So it is because of that it becomes, let's say, that difficult, and that's why, let's say, success somehow is considered that it is becoming more by chance rather than by efforts, but it is not in that way. If success is not by efforts, so you and me may not be here. This, we do apply efforts. There is also objective analysis of this, how we, let's say, that apply for. So that is how, let's say, that if you talk that something you are trying which is so difficult that we don't have to dramatize too much, but at the same time we don't have to underestimate it so much. Are we underestimating it, or are we dramatizing it? Right. That takes you to next level, which I say as perception versus reality. This, so perception, this, about this examination. So perception is that, one perception is, it is not so difficult, it is easy, let's say that, and many people in market, are you also maybe familiar on that, isn't it? That what nowadays, since results, let's say that came, some people will say, I did self-study. No, you can see news headings, newspaper headings, I did self-study. This, so you wonder why you are studying here? In Karol Bagh, old Rajinder, Nagar, so much of money, isn't it? This, next they will say 3 months I studied prelims. Okay. Someone will say that 3 months I studied prelims, or 4 months, this is how they will say, and I qualified. Then one will wonder, I have given 3 attempts, not qualified. This, so that kind of, let's say, that is strategy. Then someone will say, in 1 year I prepared and qualified. I started preparing last year, means it took 1 year to prepare, and this is how I have got a top rank. So in newspaper also it is, or the results are also, let's say, publicized in such a way that कि newspaper वाला also writes that this candidate has qualified in first attempt. A rickshaw puller son has qualified IAS in first attempt. Self study. Good story. This similarly, let's say top rank. Anyone is a top ranker, he may also tell like that. Now you say exam तो बहुत ही आसान है. It seems very easy, let's say, not that difficult कि एक साल तो लगेगा. This, that way we can consider. Let's take that. This, those who say that very difficult. So some will say very difficult. At times we sound like that. So very difficult you can say. Very, let's say, too difficult you can say that. This. So some may dramatize like this. Like many graduates may not simply try for civil services because they think that it is very difficult. ये हमसे नहीं होगा, ये हमारे लिए नहीं है. Or at times when you start your journey, so that kind of thinking may come. क्या क्या मुझसे हो सकता है, या whether I can do it, do I have that level of intelligence, do I have that level of, let's say, academic background. Many people think they don't have good academic background. So one candidate was not BTech and he was staying in one such some supported type of preparation nowadays we have, name I will not take. And he says that all are BTech from IIT in that place and he is not BTech from IIT. So he has a low confidence and he is not given proper treatment that place because he is not BTech from that. So this is how, let's say, the other side of this picture, let's say that many graduates can think that ये हमसे नहीं होगा, बहुत difficult है. This. So those who take it that it is very difficult and those who take it that it is like this, both do not have right view of this examination. This, like suppose if you start from here, you will be below the standard of UPSC. And if you take it like this way, so you will have above the standard of UPSC. This, largely this category people will not find more, but this category people will find more. Right. How I will tell that? Let's say UPSC standard, this is the line on which UPSC standard is this. Right. So those who take it that it is not that difficult, they may start and they can prepare at this level. This. They may prepare at this level and then the hit and trial begins. Right. So all those candidates will come in this category, which is considered as over, or let's say that more than 50% candidates may come in this category. I will show you that graph that how it is. More than 50% candidates will come in this category. They take that it is not that difficult. So what they do? Foundation batch completed, now they appear in prelims. I know many candidates who are appearing in prelims this year without preparation, simply because foundation batch has been, they have studied foundation. They think batch is finished, preparation is finished. Now I am in a position to this. That is how the trend in the market. So they start from this, but UPSC standard is this. So then it may take them 2-3 years to reach that place, or perhaps not 2-3, 4-5 also, 5-6 also. Right. This. So that's why it is important to understand where you should start with, for what you are trying or for which type of examination you are trying. It is very important. Right. It is important, suppose in World Cup it happens when the other side is South Africa, other side is Australia, then you have to learn about Australia, the Indian team or any other team, so that it can have good contest, good fight. This, the preparedness, it is all about preparedness that we need to understand how this can be understood, that how people generally take this examination like this. First I will tell, it is not criticism. There is nothing called self-study. There is nothing called 3 months. Right. Whether the person who has said that I have prepared in 3 months, do you know his academic background? Right. You can take like this. Many people ask when we have farewell type of thing, that day people ask that what you take, how you feel, means keep yourself health, means how you keep your health better. So I don't share the real thing. Because you cannot tell the real thing. Na? You will tell, I can simply tell that, oh, our day start with millets. That is how I can say. Now you tell, oh, he takes millets in breakfast. But other things I have not told. Same thing it happens, let's say that in preparation. Those who are saying that he just qualified in 3 months, his academic background may be good. What if he did 10+2, his let's say his GS was very strong, his GK was very strong. Right. He made his mind in before 10+2 itself. What if in graduation time he kept preparing? Right. What if? Right. So this you can say, I will give a name of, that name I can take, Ajay Dwivedi, who got 17th rank, BTech from IIT Delhi. So when he joined BTech, his aim was to prepare civil service. He was very clear on that. Therefore, he used to do classes, but at the same time in library he will prepare civil service. Means he will study civil service. BTech he will do study in such a way that he just passed the examination. Now after BTech he got a rank. So this is what, do we know the academic background of people? This. So that is what we have to understand. This understanding will come. Let's say show that. This is Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute, means Institute of Public Administration, which keeps showing its fact, although it is based on UPSC report. So you can see that when most of the candidates qualify, in which age bracket? This. So you will find this 26 to 28 years. Most of the candidates qualify UPSC in the age of 26 to 28 years. That does not mean you should, let's say, become very laid back, I will qualify in 28 years. It's not in that way, right? But the facts will find this. Then followed by, let's say, that's in 24 to 20s. So basically we can take that it is 24 to 28. This in the age group of 24 to 28 we can say that. And thereafter you can find like. Then this one is very interesting. This is very interesting. See, most of the candidates appear here, first attempt. Most of the candidates, that's what I was saying, that more than 50%. This. And this is second attempt, this is first attempt. The first attempt, you can see the people appearing and qualifying. This, these are attempts, number of attempts, and it is UPSC report again. So you see this 3 and 4th attempt. Highest number of candidates qualify in 3rd attempt. This 3rd attempt. This you can say between this. This is how you will find this. So that's why we forewarn the students. When students, let's say, they are preparing in their beginning stage, let's say foundation classes they are doing, so that time, let's say, we try to forewarn them, right? You should appear only when you are fully prepared. Then the question comes that how you will know that you are fully prepared, and what is the way to test it that you are fully prepared, or at least you are prepared in such a way that in first attempt you can qualify. This, how you will know and how you will prepare, this is how the things we have to discuss today, that how you will know this, that how I can make a right decision. And let me tell you that in beginning I was saying that it is gambling and by luck, but it is not like that. It is like achieving perfection in decision making. UPSC demands perfection in your decision making, and when you let's say start achieving or moving towards that perfection in decision making related to your prelims, decision making related to your mains examination, and decision making related to the questions that you answer in interview, that should be not perfect but towards perfection. Okay. And that's why it is not by luck, that's why it is not by chance. So by luck at times, you know that even teams like Afghanistan nowadays, and in old era, let's say that Zimbabwe, you used to say that, and Bangladesh can also defeat India. This by luck and chance, on a good day, you know that they can also defeat. But does it mean that they are well prepared to defeat India every time, or average number of times? Not necessary. It means that most of the time teams get success by their efforts. Only on some occasions it can be they may not have good luck, and they get defeated by that weak teams. So that way also it can happen. Therefore, the next stage is just to understand, this UPSC, that how this examination, you say, which we have, let's say, categorized, or you are familiar that prelims, now in this it is again very basic to tell that you get 100 questions, and in that out of 100, let's say that questions which we have 200 marks, you have to get, if you talk about this year 2023, right, 75.41 was the cutoff for 2023. From CBSE standard, it is below standard. Right. Because in CBSE you have habit which I always say, this in CBSE, isn't it? You have habit of getting 100%. This here in 200, let's say that marks, right, you are getting this much. And we have made one, let's say, video which will be made public shortly. A candidate who appeared 4 times mains, but 5th time he did not qualified prelims. And he did not qualify prelims by 0.66 marks. 4 times mains, 5th time prelims, not qualified. For what? By 0.66. This, not 1. So you see that how it is. We are not again trying to make it dramatic, or we are not trying to make it something, let's say that. Just we are trying to tell the reality. Facts should also be known. This, it means, let's say that the papers, whatever the questions we have, they would certainly be not easy questions, right? And certainly also not too difficult that you cannot, otherwise it should go below 75. It's still there are people, those who are qualified. Thus, that way we can say, if you take CSAT, the 66.67, you need to, let's say, get minimum, and 80 questions you have. In 80 questions, same, let's say 200 marks. This, in that, let's say you have to get 66.67. And you know, even that we are not able to get. In fact, if it goes 10 down, if it goes further down, 75 further down, so there is no difference between qualifying and merit paper. This, so this is how change, let's say, that we have to understand. When CSAT was introduced that time, and now CSAT at present, this, so both are not the same, you know that. Their standard you should know. And that is how it demands that you should have a right strategy. Or right strategy, just to tell here itself, is that CSAT people used to prepare after December and January. Yes. They used to prepare after December and January for 2-3 months. They will do practice, and they think somehow it will happen. But can that strategy work? This, that is how we have to understand. Now, those who fail to qualify CSAT, they can be also so-called qualified IIT JEE Advanced. Right? Means some IITians have also failed to qualify CSAT. And it is not, let's say that, it does not mean that it is shameful act. It simply means that somehow there may be carelessness. Right? This, it is not that they are not competent. You can say many candidates, they accept, they honestly admit it. This, so that is what you should understand about this, let's say that prelims related challenge, right, which we have to understand. Then if you take, let's say that mains, which I will talk on separate page, which we can divide, let's say that GS, then essay, then optional. This, now here we have 4 papers. We have 4 papers. This, someone says, yes, I have been trying to learn Hindi and speak. Someone is writing, सभी कोचिंग ओनली इंग्लिश मीडियम के स्टूडेंट को ही क्यों सोचते हैं? हिंदी मीडियम की भी हेल्प. This is how one student is writing. So we will do that, otherwise there will not be justice to English medium students, especially those who are from South India. but I have been trying to learn Hindi, speak, because if Rahul Gandhi can speak so good Hindi, so I have been thinking ki, right, other people can also learn and speak. Anyhow, so this is how we can say that. Let's come to this point. We'll tell you about these 4 papers, but in 4 papers means we have total 1000 marks, let's say. This 250 each. One paper, 250. This. And here in 250, if you get, let's say that ki 100, it is, let's say that ki good. 100, 400 it is. But basically you don't have to get 400, you have to get 430 plus. Around, let's say that. It means ki at least you have to make a permutation combination in such a way that ki you reach to that. This 430 plus. वो एक ही से भी हो सकता है. This, if you get 100, 30. This because this ethics has been very, especially in this, let's say that UPSC since 2013, you can see all the candidates getting top ranks. They will have 120 plus in ethics papers, including this year first rank 142. I think he has. This in ethics paper. This. So if you prepare one paper, although paper wise will give you, just we wanted to just tell that. Now these are all descriptive type of papers. Right. Which you know that this, they will give 20 questions are compulsory. All 20 questions are compulsory in GS paper. You have to attempt this. So that way we can say. Then essay is also, let's say, 250. Marks. And again nowadays at this stage getting even 100, let's say that, so it is being considered better, let's say that. This, although let's say that you should get 110 plus from present standard, right. But even getting 110 plus is difficult, let's say that, out of 250. This. Then optional, any subject you can opt which has, let's say, 2 papers and 500 marks. Since optional we are not talking here, but optional plays a key role, you know that. This in your overall selection. Basically people are getting 300 plus. Those who are getting 300 plus, right, all those who are coming in top ranks, they will have around, let's say, in other, let's say, different, depending on which optional you have. But yes, sociology, anthropology, you will find that this political science, so they are, let's say that people can have 300 plus marks in this. So 300 plus you can add yourself this 110 and then it is 430, you can get this. So it will be 800 plus, let's say that, this. Plus, you know that interview is separate, you can consider. Then there are, let's say that, 2 qualifying papers. One is English and another is any language that you have, so they are qualifying papers. In mains examination, qualifying papers are not that difficult, although at times people have failed to qualify the language papers also. This, that has also happened, but that's, let's say that 2 papers that we have, qualifying papers. Generally this, the picture that we have. So main syllabus and prelim syllabus, both are different. Although they have overlapping, let's say that nature. Then the question comes after, let's say, knowing these basic things. So you have to basically prepare for, if you say that, you have to prepare for prelims and mains. Okay. Then the question comes that how you should prepare. Okay. How you should prepare? Should you prepare by let's say first preparing prelims, focusing on prelims, qualifying prelims, this, or we should focus on this mains examination. And then should we go by this or should we go by this? This is how it will decide. Many candidates, you know that since they have pressures from their families and others, so they think that कि at least prelims qualify करना है. Yes. अगर prelims हम नहीं qualify करेंगे तो family वाले यहाँ नहीं रहने देंगे. Means in Delhi. If I qualify prelims, so they will support. So they may have started their journey, let's say that, they may have started their journey in a right way, but somehow it happens that ki just to give results, just to show results to someone, then you start becoming more prelims oriented. Or let's say because of your career prospects, because you want to just make a career in any, let's say that you get, means career security, let's say that, since you appear or prepare for other examinations. So what you do is that since you appear for other examinations, so your focus remain on prelims. Why? Because preparing for mains, know that it is very exhaustive. This 4 papers, syllabus of 4 papers, if you see, it is really exhaustive preparation, let's say. By the time you study polity, history is forgotten, and by the time you study geography, history is, let's say, polity is forgotten. Isn't it? So that way. Then the question comes, other, let's say that, this ACE, although it is part of mains examination, and then interview. This. Now, some people, those who are rhetorical means emotional. So what they think? They are concerned about unnecessary, how I will answer interview question. Right. How I will write essay, this kind of thing. So should I prepare, start, मुझे essay लिखने नहीं आता है, मैंने कभी essay लिखा नहीं. This is how they think. I have not written essay, so should I start writing essay? So, but these are very emotional questions and immature, precarious questions. This is how it should. Those who ask, why? So, let's see the syllabus, then I will tell other things. Although you know that syllabus, but still. This is UPSC notice, which says, which you should read that, what it says. 2 paper, both question paper, objective type, this basic thing. This is how it is qualified. This Hindi and English. It is not elaborative. The syllabus is not elaborative. It simply says current events, then history, let's say, geography you can say, polity you can say, governance, although they do mention some specific things. This economy you can consider, general science you can say that, and then environment, ecology, etc. But by syllabus, you cannot understand anything. Right. The same syllabus can be for your PCS also. Right. The same syllabus may be mentioned for your other one-day examination, isn't it? So by syllabus, we cannot understand unless let's say that you read papers, read UPSC, at least 10 years papers. Right. Since 2013, you read this. Before preparing, this is how we'll say that, before preparing, it's when you are starting now your journey, so you should read them, this, so that you can understand. It is very important, as it will result into you will get absorbed in this, because the same, as we say that, the same syllabus you can see of the PCS, any such state examination, let's say ki states are now introducing ethics paper. So ethics paper for UPSC, the same syllabus they are also following. Why they are following? By default, they cannot create their own syllabus. But certainly there will be difference in nature of questions. So that way that is called right understanding. This is what we say as right understanding. When we read papers, this same thing, let's say that it is CSAT related. The syllabus does not matter. Let's say they have mentioned some of the topics here. But again, does it matter? The way now paper is asked, one person wrote in the Hindu one article that qualifying paper is becoming more difficult than the paper which is merit based. And one petition has been filed in Supreme Court that qualifying paper is being made more difficult than, and it is not justified. So that way we can consider. Now here again, let's say that ki background, all these things start mattering. Your academic background, there's a people can have weak mathematics, their arithmetics, others, let's say that comprehension, reading comprehension, right? How we will prepare. So that way, while reading these things, question papers, you also start knowing yourself. It is also important to know where do you stand. Where do you stand? Let's say your academic standards. Then I will show. Yes. This is how the syllabus, you know that. Mains syllabus, although essay, so it is not part of this. If you see the force, you can see how elaborately they have mentioned it. This. And it is very difficult to show. We have done so that we can show in one, let's say that, in one page. So it may not be visible completely, let's say, but you have the syllabus, you can see this. Why we have told that? Because they have given the details of that syllabus if you read this. And this, why we are showing it. If you see prelims and if you see main syllabus, what happens? So we can draw like this, let's say that. We can draw like this, and suppose it is related to mains examination. This. So within that, we can have prelims. And within that, we can have interview. This. Or anyway, if it is not, it is mains examination, so within that there can be prelims, within that can be essay, within that can be interview, it can be, let's say, interlinked. This means if you are preparing for mains, you are preparing for other three. This. You are preparing for other three. This. So that should be in your mind. You should not keep in your mind that, oh, I am preparing for mains oriented, so I am not preparing for prelims. Right. Or prelims ka kya hoga? Right. This. And why it is important to know mains and then prelims. So it is a misnomer. What we write or what is written in course, GS foundation pre cum mains, but वो होना क्या चाहिए? GS foundation mains cum pre. but it is not handy to speak, that's why it is a pre-cum mains, let's say that. Why it is? So, let's say that ki prelims questions, if I draw like this, prelims, the prelims has all those subjects which are, let's say that if it is prelims, so they are also related to mains. This some subjects, like let's say we can have ecology, environment, science and tech, means general science you can say, this plus others. In fact, in let's say GS, there are let's say 5 major, let's say that ki subjects, 5 major in GS. We can have this history, geography, ecology, environment, polity, economy, and then ethics paper, which is not part of this. So 5 major, let's say that ki subjects you can have. Others are minor subjects. Right. Minor subjects, let's say that society, right, international relation, security, disaster management. So they are the small modules, you can say that, in GS. This, it means your preparation should focus on these 5 major things first. This 5 major things, because if you are preparing 5 major things, your prelims also prepared and mains also prepared. This. Now, we say that basic to advanced. What does it mean? Okay. Basic to advanced plus UPSC pattern. That is also important to know. ये दोनों एक दूसरे से रिवॉल्व होता है. See, if you prepare prelims, right, you are preparing, focus is on, and let's say mains is not properly prepared, you will lack advanced knowledge. You will not have, whether you can say advanced, you can say, or you can, whatever the language or term you can use. Advanced means, let's say, proper understanding. Understanding to the level of UPSC. This, if you are not prepared for your, let's say, mains first, especially those subjects which are common to prelims, you will not be able to do this prelims better. Right. Why? Many questions, let me draw like this, my way of telling this prelims, this, suppose it is prelims, let's say it is mains, this is how we say that, this is how we say that this. Now, questions, when in prelims those questions are asked, these questions will have reflection of, there will be ecosystem of mains in prelims question. That is why it is important. This, and many topics are not part of, mentioned in prelims. They are not mentioned in prelims. Why? Because you will read books, Lakshmikant for polity, geography, NCERTs and others, history others, whatever the things you will read. In those, whatever the things you will read, right, if you talk about prelims, there will be many things not mentioned for prelims. Right. Like once they ask a question related to social capital. In prelims it will ask. Social capital, let's say, who will know about social capital? Right. This, the term, let's say that way. Or once they ask, last year let's say a question, kuch to some, at least you may have some familiarity with NCERT, GS, etc., isn't it? But last year they asked a question like this. called in essence due process of law. Is related to this. What they are saying in right. So nowadays they are asking questions on the basis of not, let's say that ki subject wise the way it is taught. Rather, suppose you have been taught fundamental rights, you have understanding of fundamental rights. After reading fundamental rights, article 12 to 35, you develop an understanding which is not as of now. This. When it is taught in a separate way, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, it is taught in a discrete manner. This. After knowing all articles and fundamental rights, you develop an understanding. And on that understanding base, UPSC is asking a question. This. So even if you know fundamental rights well from 12 to 35, right, but you have not developed an understanding, isn't it? So this question many did last year wrong. Why? Because due process, तो उन्होंने D वाला जो ऑप्शन है उनको सीधा लगा, right? इसलिए कि आर्टिकल 21 तो वहां पे यही बात होता है, लॉ शुड बी रीजनेबल, फेयर एप्लीकेशन ऑफ लॉ, बट बाद में उनको ध्यान नहीं थी, इसेंस पूछ रहा है, राइट? तो ऑप्शन ए वाज करेक्ट, नेचुरल जस्टिस. दिस. सो हाउ यू कम टू नो अबाउट ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ and you develop an understanding, how you start relating due process of law, natural justice, rule of law. As of now आप उस position में नहीं है. Unless you are taught article 12 to 35, then thereafter you still the understanding has not gone to a level कि you can be taught all the permutation combinations. This. So that is how it is related to here, let's say that these things you try to know from this place, right? Then there are many other things, let's say, which once they ask a question related to, let's say, Sarkariya Commission, and that was related to appointment of governor, right? Ki Sarkariya Commission has recommended, recommends, right, which of the following conditions for appointment of governor. अब सरकारिया कमीशन और गवर्नर के बारे में आप कब जानोगे? वो लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ के तो मिलेगा नहीं आपको, लक्ष्मीकांत में तो वो है नहीं. तो that you come to know when you know about governor, you study properly in details about governor. Yes. So that's why let's say that we cannot separate it. We cannot separate. And therefore, your preparation should be mains to prelims rather than prelims to mains examination. It means there is a quite possibility if you are strong here, so you can be strong here. It is not that it will automatically convert that you become strong here. No, not like that. It demands still a separate perspective, a separate strategy for prelims, and developing and sharpening your knowledge. This, like the person I shared you, right? You see, there can be many other people. Those who he appears 4 times in mains. Na. It means that he may have prepared this, but again it is not converted, and he is not exception. Many successful stories, students you can find. They say I did not qualify in prelims. Like last year, 3rd ranker also, you know that. So she once did not qualify prelims. And she was IIT, let's say that, BTech. This, and because of CSAT, 3rd ranker. This. So still you have to sharpen it. That's why it demands separate focus, but we cannot separate from this. Then the question comes after knowing it. Means it should be imbibed in your mind that I have to prepare, let's say, mains come prelims. And when you are preparing mains come prelims, you know that you are studying all these things. It's huge. It's huge. Right? So when you are studying all these things, so don't you know that if you combine all, in essence, right, you develop knowledge. Sorry. Means you develop knowledge and understanding in all these things, and then you will be able to write essay. Do you need a separate preparation for essay? Not at all. Right. So already by the time you complete all these things, plus you will have optional also. And let's say coincidentally your optional is either geography, anthropology, public administration, political science, whatever. Right. So that optional gives knowledge. Right. If you have mathematics, though, it cannot help you. Yes. Yes. Mathematics wale somewhere disadvantage. Right. Why they will be in disadvantage? Because any optional you carry, let's say you have sociology, right? The first kit will have society is covered, social justice is covered, certain social economy is covered, right? And sociology, to social morality is also social dimension based. Right? Morality comes from society, isn't it? Morality comes from society, and he knows about society. Right? He has also advantage in ethics paper. Same thing about other optional. If you take political science, so वो बोलेंगे कि सारा हमारा है. This you can say that. And then moral philosophers are largely political philosophers. You say philosophers. The philosophers are largely political philosophers. They have advantage. Same thing goes with public administration. Same thing with geography, you can say that. Anthropology wala also has some advantages. But mathematics wala, so then they will have to build all together fresh knowledge. It does not mean they do not do. They also do that. See, UPSC has lots of permutation combinations. Right. But yes, that's why in one video I have discussed, and let's say UPSC says that 80.55% candidates appear in UPSC with humanities subject. Yes. They can have humanity background or science background, but 80.55% candidates appear with humanities background because of optional advantage. But yes, here we were not talking about optional. Let's talk that. And once you know this, so you are also prepared for your interview. Right. Yes, sharpening of knowledge is needed. Customization in knowledge is needed. This, but base will be provided by this. Your optional and mains, let's say GS papers, they will provide you an ecosystem, foundation, and then you have to sharpen your knowledge for GS1 prelims, essay, let's say that, and interview. Although that's why separate essay is, let's say that the practice means you start practicing. But certainly, let's say that for essay writing, you should start practicing only when you have got at least in 4 GS, let's say major components. Knowledge means you have completed history, geography, polity, economy, at least you have completed, then it will be a right time to start practicing essay. The essay writing should not be done at this stage, and you should not worry about at this stage. And certainly you should not worry about this stage. At this stage you should worry about mains oriented knowledge. This is how, whether you are preparing all these syllabus. And then the question comes next, that how much time it takes to prepare them. This, isn't it? What is the ideal time? It takes a bit, let's say that it becomes hard to tell, but we say generally it is 1 year, 1 and let's say half year, you can say this. You should give 1.5 years first, then you should think about appearing in UPSC. Right. Means, you are preparing, this is called May 24, and suppose you have not studied GS, you have not studied optional, then for you this 2025 is not the right attempt. Although you may feel disheartened, this very different thing. Right, because you may be targeting, आपने पेरेंट्स को बोला होगा कि मैं 1 साल टाइम दो हमको, isn't it? मैं रिजल्ट देता हूँ. This. So, but let me tell that it does not work. How it does not work? So let's say that कि May you have start this 2025. So 1 year, in 1 year you will be only taught GS properly. That 11 months course you can have, some can have 12 months, right, 8, 9 months, this is how, but it is almost 1 year, let's say, duration it is needed. The 4 papers teaching properly, it takes time. This you have to understand. Why it takes time? That we'll talk separately. Now, suppose you want to do GS also. Market में यही trend है, isn't it? कि आप 1 साल के लिए दिल्ली आए हो, तो चलो ऑप्शनल भी पढ़ लेते हैं साथ में. राइट, अब आप प्रिपरेशन नहीं कर रहे हो, आप पैकेज डिलीवर कर रहे हो. दिस, आप पैकेज पे आ गए, प्रिपरेशन पे नहीं. दिस 1 साल का पैकेज मिला है, घर से पैसा मिला है, 1 साल में प्रिपरेशन करके आ जाना है. राइट, अब आप क्या कर रहे हो कि जीएस का क्लास कर रहे हो और ऑप्शनल का क्लास कर रहे हो. देयर आफ्टर यू डोंट गेट टाइम टू स्टडी. इसलिए कि कहीं भी, यहाँ भी, कहीं भी जीएस के भी एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस चलते हैं और ऑप्शनल के भी चलते हैं, टू फिनिश देम ऑन टाइम. Any optional that you take, it will take minimum 3 to 4 months only for class finishing, right? And any GS you take, it takes minimum 10 to 11 months. So what you have basically done in that 1 year is that you have finished the syllabus. You have finished the syllabus. Means what you have done? You have built just a structure of your preparation. जैसे ये बिल्डिंग है, तो बिल्डिंग का आपने क्या किया है? स्ट्रक्चर बनाया है. ठीक, अभी स्ट्रक्चर से तो काम चलेगा नहीं. ठीक, अभी इंटीरियर्स काफी बाकी है. ठीक, बस उसका प्रॉपर ब्यूटिफिकेशन, डिजाइनिंग, दिस एंड दैट, राइट, नीड बेस्ड कहाँ पे क्या होगा, isn't it? But इस स्ट्रक्चर को, दिस स्ट्रक्चर you think that कि now I am prepared. Yes, you are prepared to answer a question called DPSP's, it's DPSP in Indian Constitution has been borrowed from. तो ये वाला क्वेश्चन आप आंसर कर दोगे, from Irish Constitution. But in essence, due process of law means this is how. Anyhow, so we are not making it difficult, let's say, or just we are trying this. Why? You have to see that for what you are preparing, you have to respect UPSC standard. You have to know UPSC standard. The way a good cricketer is one who respects any bowler bowling a difficult one. So what he does? He just plays. He does not try to hit out of emotions. A less mature cricketer is one, what he does? He gets swayed. But a mature cricketer, a good cricketer is one, what he does? He plays with his cool and calm, let's say that, maintains his patience. This. That is what, let's say, you will say ki we, according to us, at least in first go you should give 1.5 years. Then you should think about your appearance. You are prepared. Why? Because once, let's say that ki you prepare those GS paper, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, then optional, suppose you have somehow finished, then they will take another 6 months. Another 6 months after 1 year to improve their interiors. Means to improve right, and try to prepare match UPSC standard by reading PYQs and solving PYQs and preparing your notes based on that, short notes that we say that way, and writing some mains oriented answers. So it will take almost 1 and this is minimum. This, it is minimum, let's say that. So maximum can be even 1.5 to 2 years. Now, there are candidates, let's say that, what they are doing basically. There are candidates and they will prepare some sections of GS, those 4 sections, history, geography, polity, economy. Then they will start appearing in some minor sections, they will leave. Dekha jayega. This. So let's say IR, so let's ethics, they try to do after prelims, science and technology, yes, yes, environment, let's say that, disaster management, society, isn't it? So these are small modules. They think that we will do after prelims. Yes, let's go by that. After prelims, let's say 2.5 months you have. 2.5 months. 2.5 months. Let's say that ethics we teach in, only ethics we teach in 2.5 months. Sorry to say that. Forget about this. But the question is that 2.5 months, what you have to do? In that you have to only do revision, writing practice. This you can only do writing practice. You cannot prepare a subject, any subject, even a small subject called society afresh. This you cannot leave it. If you start preparing society, right, it depends on your again academic background and other things, let's say. Means when we will tell about strategy, the strategy should not be casual. Right. It's another matter that someone can, as we told you that, on a given day, Bangladesh can also defeat India. This, but we cannot teach how Bangladesh defeats India as a strategy. Right. This. So same thing, let's say that on given day, some people may, let's say that ki prepare, they can tell ki I prepared after, but that cannot be a rule, that will be exception. It means ki before you appear, you should be prepared. I know since we teach optional also and we teach GS also and we have such a good length of experience also, we know that. Even if we tell to the candidates that don't appear, you should not appear indirectly because optional is also not ready. Right. Anyone who starts studying optional in October, he is not in a position, means placed in a position to appear for prelims. This. But again, let's say they don't, because emotions are running high, confidence is running high, and at the same time, precariousness is running high. I mean to say that immaturity. This, I have prepared GS, I have prepared this. This is how the right understanding, how you will get the right understanding. So that starts with your each section, right? When preparation starts, let's say that. So when preparation starts, each section, let's say, suppose we start with polity. This. So polity, let's say that pura entire paper, let's say that GS paper second, so we teach in 100 classes. This. If it is taught in 100 classes, right, 85 polity and 15 IR. Right, that is how it is, right, reducing, right. So if it is taught in 100 classes, don't you think that you need to have time also to revise it? Revise and prepare this, let's keep foundation. So basically it is like this. If you say like this is foundation, this is advance, this, then you become in a position to attempt your mains paper. So foundation is built, it is broader, you have to narrow it. This, so suppose in each class we may teach, let's say, 5 to 6 pages. No, it is less. 6. So let's say that 6 pages we teach, right? The 6 pages and let's say 5 to 6 and 100 class. Right. Minimum 500. Right. If it goes in that way, to 500 pages you have 4 papers. Right. The minimum you have 2000 pages. Just know the objectivity of the preparation. You have 2000 pages of notes. So don't you think that keeping in mind, let's say memorizing it, retaining it, it takes time. And you have to reduce this 2000 pages to at least not 500, 200. So you have to reduce it to 2000 to 200 pages. And unless you reduce to 200 pages, you are not in a position to attempt mains questions. Some you can attempt but not with confidence, because you will end up writing some of the things and answer will be, remarks will be getting generic answer, abstract answer. Retention. Again, we are not saying that it is difficult. No, every year people are doing it. The only thing is that you have to know it and start it, do it. This. So this way, because unless you do reduce it, when you will do it? So after completion of batch, not when batch is getting completed. Why? because your knowledge level is not that time that much that you can yourself minimize. We teach fundamental rights, you know that 10-15 classes, although I will minimize only fundamental rights, right? Now, once you know fundamental rights yourself, so you can yourself reduce it. Right? Our task is to teach you contempt wala also, sedition also, let's say that ki public order also, but then you can reduce yourself. This, and then reduction will take time. Right? Now let's say ki 100 classes, how much time you should yourself give? The minimum you can say 10-15 days. It takes 5 to 6 months this after completion. So that is how let's say that it starts with. So each section is taught. So when each section is taught, let's say that, so it is basically the class that is designed is more mains oriented. The mains oriented topics are taught, questions are taken, questions are analyzed in the class itself. Let's say we discuss the questions, and plus you are asked also to write some questions. This. So this way you should know, and that way you start learning more about mains oriented. Although yes, okay, this time what we have done, this time we have let's say included in each paper, let's say that our Tucker paper also. This Tucker paper means कि generally we have 146 tests in 1 year, prelims and mains and essay, right? So we will eliminate current affairs related tests. This is how. So let's say that कि polity paper you have. So in polity you can have at least let's say prelims oriented tests, 3-4 prelims oriented tests. Then there is this minimum 3 I guess tests related, 3-4 mains oriented tests. This. So this time we have designed, and that will be let's say 10 question each, then 120 question. This. So it is divided in let's say that fashion. So basically you are getting prelims also and mains also. This, at this stage when a subject is taught, so we do not focus on prelims much. This you should know at this stage. But prelims is focus especially means with specificity you can say. When the 3 months classes are taken especially for prelims. This means in that 11 months what is done or how it is designed, that 11 months that we are designing, so each subject is taught mains oriented, then there will be a CSAT class, right? Separate CSAT class is conducted, and you have to do extra for CSAT, right? Means after means it will not be part of, means we will not conduct CSAT with the subjects that we have designed, rather it is scheduled either this time we have decided to do in morning session from 7:45 onwards for 2 hours, or in afternoon session 5:30 to 7:30. This. So CSAT, let's say that is extra class. Let's say if GS you are getting taught from 11 o'clock, so that aspect can be. Then in January to let's say March, this is how prelims related class separately taught. There it is focused. Plus let's say that after finishing this thing, then we have it is for all. This, it is all India, let's say that free prelims, I think AIPMT mock test, right? So every month it is it is conducted. You can also appear to test yourself. This, how better let's say you are. But certainly let's say a good time will be after when batch is finished, then you appear and test yourself. So when prelims tests are conducted, when polity is taught, and you are, let's say, appearing and solving these questions, at least it is building a prelims orientation in you. At the same time, main focus is on mains orientation. This. So while doing it, you get familiar with UPSC, its pattern, nature of questions, this, because there will be also some 1 to PYQs also. This. So that way it brings you, let's say, that to familiarity, means it brings you to the level of, you can say, UPSC, and that is how each subject or each module will be taught, which the calendar we have for this. Yes, the calendar, let's say, which is available, you can take this. This is how it is for polity section. Similarly, let's say for entire, it is only polity section. Right. There is GS, let's say, also. For GS also, means entire all GS section we have prepared calendar, which is uploaded on the portal. You can see that how it is. Let's say class, and some classes will be also scheduled in afternoon session. Right. Some classes, because nowadays it is difficult to teach only in 2.5 hours and 11 months. Some modules or some sections will be scheduled, let's say, afternoon session also from 2:30 to 5, or let's say 2 to 4:30, like this. That way it is. And this way those sections, etc., will be conducted, and that is how you know that it becomes a journey of that 11 months. So when you go through this process, let's say, because many people do not go through that process, right? And it is said that enjoy the process, trust the process. This. So, because we have the experience of every year, means every year that we have, and that is how it happened that these people, let's say, that they may not go to this 11-month process or follow routinely, let's say, subjects getting taught, and then writing practice, attempting questions, and other aspects. Okay. Since we are talking about the course features, so let me tell that this, you will also have one mentor which you can talk and interact. Apart from, let's say, that the faculties that we have, right. Each section faculties, like so the way we I'll be teaching paper second and ethics paper. So we have interaction, you can interact, ask related to. Similarly, other faculties, plus for that there is one, let's say, mentor who can guide you, talk you, motivate you many a time. Talk also about your study plan, that what should be my study plan, how I should study, which subject I should give priority, should not give priority, all blah blah things which remain in the mind of the candidates. So he tries to sort out those things. So that way we can consider. Then it comes, let's say, whether you should have daily answer writing practice. No. Should we have daily answer writing practice? So, see, daily answer writing practice can be done, but it may not make sense every time. Okay. Like say, you may have history background, different individual, we have, let's say, different individuals have different academic backgrounds. Let's say someone is history honors, he knows history. So when GS history is taught and that candidate is from history background, he is in a position to practice for history. But suppose he is having history but he has not studied polity, and polity we start teaching. So from day one he is not in a position to start writing. This, like suppose we teach regulating act or charter acts, let's say from 1773, 1935, and when you ask discuss the major components of 1935, it is straightforward. You will write whatever taught. It is called writing practice, right? But when a bit knowledge starts building up, and then you start writing these things, so it makes sense. That's why right way is that when tests are scheduled, when tests are conducted, 10 questions, you can say that time if you write it seriously, it is better than daily answer writing. Right. Why? Because when in polity itself, we have polity, constitution, then social justice, then governance. Suppose polity is very exhaustive. Suppose it is taught till fundamental duties. It is one section. So once it is taught, so you may have developed a bit understanding related to from beginning to fundamental duties, and when questions are asked, you are in a position to answer better. So that itself is a writing practice. So generally we do not give, let's say that, advice for daily answer writing. It is wastage of time. Now, suppose ki polity, we are somehow meanwhile at federal polity level, governor level, parliament we are teaching, thereafter. So now you have developed an understanding, and when a question is given in the class itself, or a PYQ is discussed in the class itself, you can practice it. Then a topic is taught, question is discussed, now you can write it. That can also be your daily answer writing. Because it will be wastage of time. The next comes current affairs. Current affairs. In that current affairs, let's say come newspaper. Then it can be any, let's say that ki, right, magazines, let's say, or can say material, let's say simple. Now, in newspaper also, which one? Indian Express or Hindu. So do you read newspaper? Which newspaper? Hindu. Yes. So now the question is, let's say, as long as you are preparing 4 major sections, history, geography, polity and economy, you should give less time to current affairs. This you should know, which we say conventional, which I will talk in a separate strategy, but means in a separate, let's say, entire syllabus we can divide into content. If you talk the syllabus content, it is called conventional, it is called contemporary, it is called current. How you will know all these things? I will show with syllabus, but let me tell here. Basically what you are trying to do is, when you are trying to build your foundation, so you are doing this. And if you are getting properly taught, so you are getting this. If you are not getting properly taught, so you are not being taught this. How you will know this? Let's take example. थोड़ा बहुत familiar होंगे आप, isn't it? So आपने पढ़ा fundamental rights. और question आ गया इस पे, hate speech. This टीचर्स अगर चालाक है, ठीक है, तो आपको सिर्फ फंडामेंटल राइट्स पढ़ाएंगे, आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कंटेम्पररी क्या होता है, ये सिलेबस में प्रॉपरली मेंशन नहीं है. सिलेबस मेंशंस पार्लियामेंट, राइट. और लक्ष्मीकांत talks about conventional. D.D. Basu will talk about conventional, right? Question क्या आया था? How freedom of speech for films is different from other aspects. That the question is application based. This means how freedom of expression in film, let's say, suppose you are acting in film, so you are playing the role of character. So when you are playing the role of character, so you have to exactly act as per the character. So you can have hate speech also, you can be abusive also, but as a citizen, you are not allowed to do. There is a reasonable restriction, right? So you know about fundamental rights, but suppose application part, contemporary developments have not been taught. Like say कि hate speech is a contemporary development, let's say. It is ongoing debate. This, but fundamental rights are conventional. This, like let's say कि RTI, the RTI is a contemporary development. Right to Education Act is a contemporary development, right? So conventional you are preparing. As long as you are preparing conventional, we say generally कि wear a blinker and finish it off as soon as possible, right? Means close yourself in a room, finish conventional, then come out to this world, right? Because conventionals are not dynamic. This, they are static section that we say that, and they are the foundation. They play a foundation role. Without that, अब Regulating Act 1773 features will not change. Right. This is what you are trying to do. Then contemporary demands knowledge in current. This, if contemporary is properly taught, a teacher or any, let's say that institution which teaches you contemporary properly, so that will also cover current aspect. So anyway, it will be covered contemporary and current. This, therefore, initially when you are preparing for your GS papers, you should give less time to this, and you should not study. It is wastage of time. And you should read newspaper just for regularity. You are getting familiar, you are getting aware. This, because are you in a position to understand those articles? Right, you will not be able to understand. Like say question क्या है, artificial intelligence regulation. This एक आया था अभी आर्टिकल क्यूरेटिव पेटिशन. अभी आप पेटिशन जानते नहीं हो, क्यूरेटिव क्या जानो, तो अननेसेसरी आप पढ़ने में समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, न्यूज़पेपर समझ में नहीं आता है, क्या करें, कुछ नहीं करना है, राइट. जिस दिन आप जुडिशरी पढ़ लोगे अपने आप ये समझ में आ जाएगा. और जब तक आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस रेगुलेशन क्या होता है, बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स लिखे गए अभी, आपको पता ही नहीं है कि अभी आर्टिफिशियल, अभी तो आईटी पढ़ना है. आईटी यू हैव टू स्टडी इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी. The information technology you have to study 3 places, right? E-governance, this, Then IT as technology, and then IT as सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स. एक ही टॉपिक 3 जगह है. सो ई गवर्नेंस वाला वो गवर्नेंस वाला ही पढ़ाएगा आपको, थोड़ा सा बोलेगा कि ऐसे भी होता है. और टेक्नोलॉजी वाला कोर टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में पढ़ाएगा, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. और सिक्योरिटी वाला उसका सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स पढ़ाएगा. जब आप तीनों पढ़ लोगे तो ये भी आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. तब तक वो ऑटोमेटिकली समझ में आने लगेगा कि रेगुलेशन क्यों होना चाहिए. राइट. तो आपने जो दिमाग खपाया था उधर, सॉरी टू से दैट, मतलब इतना दिमाग लगाया था उसको समझने के लिए कि ये आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का रेगुलेशन क्यों होना चाहिए. राइट. दिस वो तो वेस्टफुल एक्सरसाइज, isn't it? So many efforts that you are applying as of now, do you think that these efforts you will not apply later, or again you are going to apply efforts? So why I am applying efforts? So can I minimize my efforts? So where I should apply my efforts? That question brings you here. So at initial stage when you are preparing for GS papers, means foundation batch, as long as you are doing, you are trying to know about different subjects. And when you are trying to know different subjects, it is not a time to understand newspaper articles fully. And don't try to understand, because it is not a right time at all. But you should go through them. Yes. Once you cross, let's say, reach to a transition, start knowing foundation, conventional, contemporary, then you should yourself start enjoying newspaper. जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं कि once polity is finished, we'll say कि अब आपको न्यूज़पेपर अपने आप समझ में आएगा. इसलिए कि आपको लगेगा कि जो पढ़ाया गया है वही तो ये लिख रहा है. राइट. सॉरी टू से, आज नहीं ऐसे बोलना चाहिए पहले. बट आपको अगर कोई फेडरल पॉलिटी का आर्टिकल मिलेगा, आपको बोले कि कुछ में नया ही लिखा, नहीं कुछ भी नया नहीं है. राइट. ऐसा आपको लगेगा कि जो क्लास में बताया गया है उससे भी बेहतर ये आर्टिकल नहीं है. You will be familiar with terminology, you will be familiar with many things. Like say कि we teach north south divide, और अभी एक आर्टिकल आया था नॉर्थ साउथ डिवाइड, 84th अमेंडमेंट एक्ट. कैग के ऊपर एक आर्टिकल आया था. दिस पंचायती राज के ऊपर आर्टिकल आया था. सो दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, एंड वी विल टेल दैट फॉलो आइदर हिंदू और इंडियन एक्सप्रेस. although Hindu is, let's say ki old, means ki it has been part and parcel of this examination. The Hindu is given preference over Indian Express, but Indian Express has also tried to mold itself, customize itself, especially you know that, right, and bring UPSC orientation. The people have also started studying or liking Indian Express, but it depends, either one you should follow this. So that way it is related to newspaper and current affairs. Now, as far as development means current developments are concerned, let's say, so we also carry ED classes. Let's say we have editorial discussion class, which for you at its initial stage is not, let's say, that applicable or relevant. But every week it is conducted, generally every day it is conducted, but every week, let's say that we have planned after prelims to conduct every week, not every day. And its material is given. It is uploaded on portal. Anyway, let's say that it is very exhaustively prepared, and if you follow that, you prepare those topics, so you are preparing contemporary and current debates also. This already notes are available, let's say that. That's why you don't have to read the materials, make notes on them. It's not in that way. And you have to minimize your time related to current, because we know that people are more swayed by, carried away by the current developments. And in their mind, those developments may, let's say that, create trouble in terms of what should be its answer, or if debate happens among peer groups, तो कौन अच्छा आंसर देता है, right? So उससे then it starts diverting it. But that should not be your strategy. This related to current aspect, and that is how ED orientation. Then question comes, let's say, as I was talking about, this, okay, the three components that we draw, the content part, this conventional, contemporary, let me tell that. So, if you take one paper, let's say focus on this polity governance part. So, even the first part, let's say, talks basic structure, amendments, significance, etc. These are all related to conventional section. But suppose as of now, debate goes on basic structure. Suppose there is a debate on basic structure. Right. Like our vice president once gave his statement that कि हम नहीं मानते basic structure को. Right. तो when he says that कि हम नहीं मानते basic structure को, right, अब क्या होगा कि इससे एक debate generate होता है. Right. That debate can be fruitful also, or that debate may not be fruitful also. Every current development is not important. Right. So suppose you know basic structure and you know current development, and suppose a question is asked in that way in mains examination. Right. So we can say that it is linked to current development, although basic structure concept is old, a contemporary development. This. So it can be, let's say, that told in that way. So it will not be still purely based on current orientation, but question can be inspired by current orientation. This, that is how the relevance, let's can consider. Now if you take all these things written related to executive, all blah blah things, right? Now in this, if you take pure current, so we have Citizenship Amendment Act. This. So it is a law which has been recently made. So there can be a question on Citizenship Amendment Act. This you can say. So, or whether it can be linked to also fundamental rights, right to equality. This, it can be linked to right to this. So that way we can consider current development. This. So questions, let's say that if you read UPSC papers, so that is how we mean to say that this now fundamental right is conventional, it is current. This, that way we can consider it. Then if I relate that, although they have not mentioned in this, but let's say that the question is related to, they have asked question related to defection. Defection politics. Now, defection politics is a current development or a contemporary development or conventional. It is a contemporary development, it has current orientation. Right? The recently defections have happened. आयाराम गैराम आपने देखा होगा, सरकार बनाना और तोड़ना. This, जो महाराष्ट्र में हुआ था, हरियाणा में हुआ है, हो रहा है. Right. So इसको बोलते हैं defection politics. So it is a contemporary development. Plus current में जो चल रहा है वो जानना जरूरी है. This. So that is how. Similarly, if I just finished this debate here, let's say, let's take IR. IR से 5 questions are asked. 5 questions में 3 ऐसे questions होंगे जो conventionals होंगे, sorry, 3 questions will be contemporary and current, and 2 questions will be a bit conventional type. This. So अब IR तो largely current हो गया. but it is not completely current. If it is related to Indo-US relationship, तो Indo-US relationship past background तो आपको जानना होगा. This, so that way, let's say that we can consider when we talk about this we are trying to say conventional, contemporary, and current orientation. So GS paper you will find like GS. The GS has, let's say that a right blend of all the three. This. Therefore, if you want to understand any question properly, your understanding should be of this all the three. This is how we say knowledge and understanding. This is how we mean to say. Because when UPSC asks questions, वो ये नहीं देखती है कि कौन सा टॉपिक कहाँ का है. Getting my knowledge. इसको बोला जाता है कन्वर्जेंस. ठीक, और इसको बोला जाता है, मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया आपको ये, इसका एग्जाम्पल दिया. ठीक, तो कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है कि जब वो टेक्नोलॉजी वाला क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे तो इन दोनों से कन्वर्ज नहीं कराएंगे. This, so that way, like say कि once they ask question on smart city in paper 1 also and in paper 3 also. In GS paper, in paper 1 also and paper 3 also. Now, there can be question on, let's say कि GST in paper 2 and paper 3 also. This, so this is what we have to understand, which we say that building means basic to advance. The basic to advance means this is how कि you know about, let's say कि parliament you know, elections you know, and then both knowledge you will try to know about defections. Right? Defection politics, evolution of defection politics. This, and now defection you cannot understand properly unless you know fundamental. इसलिए कि डिफेक्टर्स तो ये बोलते हैं कि हमारा फंडामेंटल राइट है. Right? Freedom, right to freedom, freedom of speech. We should have freedom of speech. Right? And this party has taken away my freedom of speech. That's why I am defecting. This. So हमें फंडामेंटल राइट भी जानना पड़ेगा. राइट, पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम भी जानना पड़ेगा, एंड इलेक्शंस भी जानना पड़ेगा. राइट, सो मेनी ए टाइम अंडरस्टैंडिंग ए टॉपिक डिमांड्स कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ नॉलेज. दिस, दैट्स व्हाई वी से दैट कि वंस यू नो एंटायर सिलेबस एंड देन अगेन स्टार्ट रीडिंग, then your situation is different. You start enjoying the subjects because you know all the topics. This, and that way we can say this. So then the question comes, it means, let's say that next stage, two more things that we have talked, that is called integrated preparation. This, then we have to talk most common topics, most important topics, and I have told ki a new thing I have told, how to save 25% of time. Minimum 25% of time in your preparation strategy. It's how to save. This. Now you know that ki topics are interrelated, but you have to wait for that. Right? This, wait for that is suppose someone is teaching society. Okay. So certainly that teacher or faculty is confined to teach you society. Right? Now when we teach you social justice, so then we will be confining to social justice. It is in paper 1. It is in paper to now. Here you know social economy. What is social economy? तो यहाँ भी पॉवर्टी है, पॉवर्टी तो हर जगह है. तो यहाँ भी पॉवर्टी का टॉपिक है, पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन टॉपिक है, प्लानिंग का टॉपिक आएगा, पीपीपी जाएंगे, इजंट इट, सारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वगैरह सारा टॉपिक्स आएगा, राइट. इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ का टॉपिक है, राइट. सो इकोनॉमी यू विल स्टडी, तो यू स्टडी फ्रॉम इकोनॉमिक डायमेंशन, राइट. So certainly teacher will be focusing on that. After when these things are finished, when you prepare, so you should prepare them together. जब आप नोट्स बनाओगे तो आप नोट्स एक ही जगह बनाओगे. This so that when you prepare for your mains examination, so you don't go paper wise, that is, let's say watertight type, isn't it? Compartmentalization. So we don't have to compartmentalize. Right. As UPSC will not distinguish, you know that when it asks questions, it does not distinguish. Right. And nowadays knowledge is interdisciplinary. Now here I will try to relate with one thing called K Alagh. Committee report. So you should know that K Alagh committee gave recommendation about civil services reforms, and its recommendations have been implemented, and on the basis of its recommendations you have the status of present syllabus. So what it said that time? It said that, you see, testing students at graduation level does not make sense. Already UGC has tested them at graduation level. So when you are again testing them at graduation level, it is a sort of questioning UGC. You test them at post-graduation level. Therefore, the subject should be designed in such a fashion that the topics match to post-graduation level, and those topics should be interdisciplinary, intersectoral. Means they should be interlinked. Why? Right. So आजकल जब कोई पॉलिसी बनता है तो कोई भी पॉलिसी का 3-4 डायमेंशन होता है. उसका सोशल डायमेंशन, इकोनॉमिक डायमेंशन, पॉलिटिकल डायमेंशन. जब आप एक सिविल सर्वेंट बनोगे तो आप शुरू में फील्ड लेवल पे पोस्टिंग होता है, तो वहाँ पे आपका रोल है पॉलिसी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. ठीक. जब आप थोड़ा मिडिल लेवल पे जाते हैं तो आपको स्ट्रैटेजी बनाना होता है कि कैसे पॉलिसी इम्प्लीमेंट होगा, और उसके हायर लेवल आप जाते हो तो आपको पॉलिसी बनाना होता है. Therefore, what K Alagh committee says, कि by the time they are introduced to civil services, they should have general awareness about those topics which they will apply at all the 3 stages: field level, middle level, higher level. Right. That's why topics are interrelated. Although since they have to divide in different papers, that's why they have kept it the way it is. This same thing, let's say that you find it is related to society. Right. Same thing you can club related to, let's say, when we study, let me tell about this geography, which is in paper 1, IR, this internal security, science and tech, right, ecology environment, but I was not trying to say in that fashion. I am trying to bring this, and here geopolitical. आपको पता है कि एक क्वेश्चन जियो पॉलिटिकल से आया था पेपर 1 में, आईआर टाइप क्वेश्चन, राइट, जियो पॉलिटिकल. तो जियो इज रिलेटेड टू ज्योग्राफी एंड पॉलिटिकल सिग्निफिकेंस, राइट. जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, geographically it is located and it has a political significance. भूटान का significance क्यों है इतना? Geopolitical, right? So your knowledge related to geographical aspect, it will help in understanding some of the IR related things, and knowledge in IR will help in understanding internal security. And science and technology many a time have security dimensions. No, how drones, तो drones and internal security. इसलिए कि एक बार drones पाकिस्तान, let's say that कि terrorist groups may have sent drones, let's say that drones came in Indian territory, I think. Yes. So technology हो गया drones. So we are not saying that you have to prepare together, but some of the topics may overlap. This, because pure science and technology questions are not pure science and technology oriented questions. Right. Space and security. Space and technology is one thing. Space and security is, right. This, so you have to see in that fashion. Let's say that this way. Right. Then if you take, let's say that polity and ethics, here you study about governance, you study about civil services, and they both have application here in ethics paper. This. So if you do not have optional like political science and public administration, then you should prepare yourself this and this, because its topics are related to civil services. It is written civil services values are ethics in public administration, and then it is probity in governance. Here, probity in governance and ethics in public administration, both are linked to governance and civil services. That way it overlaps. This. So you have to find in those 4 papers, although they will be taught in separate way. Why? Because to maintain distinctiveness, give dedicated focus on that. But then when you yourself prepare, you have to find out that which topics I can club together, and you should have separate notes for them. So that will minimize your time, this, and maximize your gain. This is how, because those topics you should be very strong. Okay, this, so that way it is one way to have integrated preparation strategy. Now the next stage that we have to talk is called, as we told that topics now we can divide, as we told, conventional, contemporary and current oriented. This, so that is a general, let's say conventional, it's contemporary, and current means 3C, isn't it? So now topics can be divided in different way. Another way that can be highly dynamic, most important, I will write highly dynamic, not or less dynamic. Now, highly dynamic is judiciary, defection, governor. If I mention, let's say, IR, if I mention from polity paper, this geopolitical, सो एक टाइम था कि क्वाड बना, क्वाड भी चला गया, राइट, दिस इज हाउ. सो ऐसे ट्रांजिशनल डेवलपमेंट्स होते हैं. 4 कंट्रीज ने मिलके क्वाड बनाया, इजंट इट? US, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, इंडिया एंड जापान. और वो चला गया इसलिए कि आ गया रशिया यूक्रेन वार. सो जियो पोलिटिकल सिनेरियो चेंज होते रहे. एक टाइम था कि बेल्ट एंड रोड इनिशिएटिव वाज वेरी पॉपुलर, दिस बेल्ट एंड रोड इनिशिएटिव. सो IR is highly transitional. This, although the issues may come again and again in different fashion. This plus defection हर साल होता रहता है, नए नए तरीके के defection होते हैं. तो when defection happen in a new way like महाराष्ट्र केस, तो आपको जानना पड़ेगा उसको. This plus important topics you can say. Right. So first, let's say we have to identify what are the important topics in each paper, and then in that important topics which we are talking here, important topics, there are 2 categories of topics. One ki highly dynamic, and another less dynamic or not dynamic at all, like this. What can be less dynamic? Let's say public account committee, आपने नाम सुना हो, this the public account committee, then self help group, this pressure groups, this they are less dynamic. So why we are saying now, what exactly we have told? So although towards the end I will try to summarize what we have told to give an overview, right? But now we are talking most important topics in that which are dynamic, which are less dynamic. Those topics which are less dynamic, you should prepare your best notes. Rather, you should prepare in answer format. This, we are trying to customize, beautify our house after building a structure. This. So let's say public account committee. अब आपके पास public account committee का notes नहीं होना चाहिए, एक answer होना चाहिए. This, कि I will write this introduction, I will write this basic, I will write in body part this, I will write these negatives, I will write these positives with good facts, and this will be the conclusion. This, और ऐसे टॉपिक्स आप आइडेंटिफाई करो पूरे 4 पेपर्स में. दिस, ऐसे टॉपिक्स का हम लोगों ने कोई एम्पिरिकल एनालिसिस नहीं किया है, राइट, बट लेट्स से दैट कि वी कैन हैव टॉपिक्स लाइक ओवर 20% लाइक दिस, और लेट्स से कि व्हाट 20 to 30%, लेट्स से दैट, राइट. It means you are very strong in most important topics, right, and especially those which are less dynamic. Quite possibility ki you will write exactly the way you have prepared your notes, because questions do not have much variation, right. Like if you study or you yourself analyze, let's say, so they have asked at least 2 times, they have asked 6 times, I guess, right, they have asked 3-4 times, I guess, pressure groups. So that way you should know. Defection they have asked 2-3 times. This. So the question is this, that let's say कि you have to identify after, let's say, कि knowing conventional, contemporary, current, the topics, let's say that integrated topics that you have. Now in those integrated topics you have to know that which are most common topics, and in those common topics which are less dynamic topics, I can prepare exactly. This, so you can prepare. Now the question is how you will know all these things. Okay. After or when you are going through your foundation classes, right? तब ये आपको पता चलेगा, इसलिए कि जब when the topic is taught, that time it is told, isn't it? This topic is taught, that time it is told. See, it is less dynamic topic, it is most important topic. This, it has been asked this time, you keep writing, and then once the batch is finished, you get time. That is how in next 4, 5 or 6 months you do all these things, right? And when you do all these things, I will tell you, it will minimize your 25% of time in your preparation. This, that is how the strategy we can say, this is how the understanding we can say, right? So what we have told, let's summarize. Right. Right. First we have told that this preparation should be, let's say, mains, right, come prelims, this way. Then we have told that you should have thorough study each paper. Okay. Paper wise the study should go on. This, and while we go thorough study, let's focus on current, especially newspaper, that you just keep reading, warming up yourself. Right. Then there should be this called integrated preparation. Common topics. So is it so that is what we can say in brief, you can say, and how you will in between there are so many other things, you know that. So many other things are related to writing prelims tests, writing mains tests oriented when tests will be happening. And you know that by the time you complete this, that 11 months duration you can have, right? This, or you can get Tucker, let's say, booklet to know that how 1 year plan can be prepared for preparation. This, and in that it is also given sources of reading for prelims, sources of reading for mains. This, so that way, let's say that it becomes a complete, let's say that understanding it gives about your preparation strategy, and yourself also when you prepare. It is not only that that 11 months duration, that even after that how to schedule yourself. This, and it demands, let's say, this is how, since you have a very holistic, you have to have the approach, and it demands at least minimum 1.5 years. You have to motivate also. This motivation, motivating yourself, you are doing right, going in the right direction. This aspect you can consider. And at the same time, let's give why these terms become important, right? This values, you can say that, right? These 3 things we use, isn't it? Patience, Yes. So कोई भी टॉपर ये क्यों बोलता है? Right. वो इसलिए बोलता है कि ये जो जर्नी है, लाइक ये नहीं कि आपने पॉलिटी फिनिश कर लिया उसके बाद this या halfway journey, then let's say that कि your process gets disrupted. This, it should not be. This, it should continue, and certainly when you continue, this is how he says that कि average plan, if average plan executed better, it is much better than a good plan is executed in a poor fashion. This, so we do not want a good plan, we want average plan. Average plan is कि each topic you should understand, get a general knowledge. We don't need to have that specialized knowledge, but at the same time the question is, what is the level that I have to stop? To what extent I should know a topic? This. So judiciary gives a judgment. That judgment is written in 200 pages, 300 pages. Right. But when we have to teach that judgment, we do not need more than even one page. So we need essence of that page, isn't it? So this is what we have to understand. So that way, let's say that if you have average plan, again I will repeat, average plan means कि studying those topics, knowing syllabus. Now how आपको पता चलेगा, इसीलिए बोला कि 2013 से प्रीलिम्स और मेंस का पेपर आप पढ़ो. जब आप ही 4-5 बार पढ़ोगे, when you will study yourself 4-5 times, it will enlighten you. Which topic is important, which topic is not important. This, like बार बार एक पेपर सोसाइटी से क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, वो होता है impact of globalization on women, impact of globalization on gender. Right. So the question is that कि you should know that. So when you know 10 years PYQs for mains examination, each category से आप जानो, which analysis will give you the paper analysis, तो आपको खुद ही वो मिल जाएगा. Each category से आप जानो कि history है, society है, तो society से क्या question आता है. तो once you know the question, you know the topics, then when society is taught, so you know the importance, which topic is important. This, that way it will keep you confined, this, rather than reading unnecessary things. This is how. Now, in class, even if a topic has not been asked, still we teach. This, because possibility is that they have not asked now, next time they can ask. This, but your strategy will be after getting taught that ki prepare the most important topics first, because possibility of repetition of that topic is more. Next say Panchayati Raj, question आना ही आना है. Pressure groups, self-help group, it is quite sure that they will ask questions. This, it has been happening. So you should have your 40% of preparation of those topics which are asked most of the times. This, plus you are ready with those topics which they have not asked and they can ask. This, so that, like let's say कि self-help group, we have been expecting a question on self-help group and MSME sector link. You can consider when we teach like this. Or we are saying कि social audit one day they will ask in paper second. So far they have not asked. तो इस तरह के topics वो 10% हो सकते हैं. And your guessing are जो guess करके बताया जाता है कि इस साल ये topics आने वाले हैं. तो वो भी 10 to 20% होगा. इसी पे selection हो जाएगा. 60%. राइट, और आपको 50 से 60 के बीच में 55% पे टॉप कर जाओगे आप. दिस, ये सारा efforts you will enjoy after completion, after knowing the subject. This once you know your optional, once you know your GS, then you have this, you have to do that. That is how people do, and that's why they qualify those who know these things. This, and that is how those things demand confidence. They should build confidence in you. Although initially you have to study a lot, but gradually your study will go towards narrowing down. Right. Gradually when you start, so you start like this. But once you move towards close to UPSC, it gets narrowed down. This. So this should not discourage you. That's why strong foundation is important. Right. And that's why this patience, perseverance, consistency. And that is how we can say that. That will help you to adopt a right strategy. So what is a right strategy, we cannot tell. Although we wanted to tell you. Rather, we can tell you the content of right strategy. This is the content of right strategy. Means if you know these things, they help you in devising your right strategy, building a confidence in you, giving motivation that you can also do this. This is how. And that way we can say. Now the question someone is asking that optional should be done while doing GS. If you do not want to be part of the package, so you should do optional after GS, or you should do first optional then GS. Why? Let's take whether you want to give time later on or you want to give time today. आपको लगता है कि GS और ऑप्शनल एक साथ हमने किया, एक साल में दोनों फिनिश हो गया, ठीक. लेकिन कई बार होता है कि खाना आप जब कुछ ऐसा खा लेते हो जो डाइजेस्ट होता नहीं है, ठीक, तो 2-3 दिन टाइम लगता है उसको डाइजेस्ट होने में. होता है ऐसा? तो बेसिकली जब आप ऑप्शनल और GS एक साथ पढ़ रहे हो तो आप ऐसे ही काम कर रहे हो कि आप जस्ट खा रहे हो, वो डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है, तो उसके बाद आपको ज़्यादा टाइम देना पड़ेगा उसको समझने में और ये सब करने में, और हो सकता है कि वो समझ ना आ सके, राइट. इसलिए कि जो चीज़ें क्लास में आप नहीं समझते हो, जस्ट आपने लिख लिया, खासकर ऑप्शनल के लिए, इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर आफ्टर, राइट. तो बेहतर है कि खाना वो खाओ जो डाइजेस्ट होता जाए, राइट. तो उस तरीके से अभी ऐसा लग रहा है कि टाइम ज़्यादा लग रहा है, isn't it? कि पहले मैं GS कर रहा हूँ फिर ऑप्शनल करूँगा, 1 से 1.5 साल लगेगा. बट एज ऑफ नाउ गिविंग 1.5 year, I will tell you it is good, you have to have patience. You will appreciate it after doing this. Then it may not take as much time as you have completed both. Now you have to again start both. So ideal, compulsions are there, things are there. Ideally, you should do GS, then optional, or you should do GS once you have finished your 60-70% of GS, especially the 4 major sections, then you should start doing your optional. That should be the right strategy. Then someone writes that once done with foundation, start writing on daily basis. So again, let's say that when you do foundation, that time itself you have, let's call you are writing tests. It's not you are not writing tests. At least there will be 40, let's say mains oriented tests. There will be similar number of prelims oriented tests. You are writing tests. Some PYQs also. Yes, thereafter daily answer writing is not important. We don't support it. Try to understand. At no stage, daily answer writing is important. This why? Are you so weak you cannot write? Why you want to have, generally I tell philosophy this, 0 multiplied by 0, 0 ही आएगा, right? You are trying to do the same thing again and again, again and again. एक बार आपको राइटिंग स्किल आ गया, कहाँ पे राइटिंग स्किल ज़्यादा चाहिए आपको? पेपर सेकेंड. इसलिए क्वेश्चंस काफ़ी थोड़े अलग होते हैं. राइट. और राइटिंग स्किल कहाँ चाहिए? बस आपको यहाँ से अगर राइटिंग स्किल आ गया तो यू कैन अप्लाई द सेम स्किल. राइट. अब ज्योग्राफी में क्या आना चाहिए? मैपिंग वगैरह आना चाहिए आपको. बस. तो ज्योग्राफी का डिमांड अलग है और इसका डिमांड, हाउ freedom of speech is different from film, from other, let's say, factors. Now it demands analytical understanding. But geography wala to, what are the industries in South Africa or other countries, right? Tertiary sector. तो आपको इंडस्ट्री पता है तो आप मैप बनाओगे, फटाफट लोकेट कर दोगे. This, तो basically then history, let's say, related knowledge. So basically, let's say, yes, society may demand a bit this. So you have to understand this again. So paper, let's say that is second, paper 4 can be highly demanding, some questions in paper 3, some questions in paper 1. So once you develop writing skill, how to structure, how to write intro, body, conclusion, so these things are helping you. So why you should have daily answer writing? This is one aspect. Now, intermittent answer writing should be there. This we will tell. Then PYQ, if you are talking what is the right, yes, once you have studied the subjects, you study all the subjects, all the 4 subjects or at least 3 subjects, then PYQ का अगर आपको dedicated practice करना है, then you can do that. Separate PYQ practice if you want to do. आजकल टेस्ट सीरीज भी PYQ based होते हैं. This. Then let's say that कि you are writing after prelims. आफ्टर प्रीलिम्स. सो आफ्टर प्रीलिम्स तो वैसे ही आप 4 टेस्ट लिख रहे हो. एसे टेस्ट, ऑप्शनल टेस्ट, जीएस टेस्ट, 3 दिन तो ऐसे में हो गया, बचा 4 दिन. क्या करोगे? पढ़ोगे या टेस्ट ही लिखते रहोगे? दिस अगेन लेट्स से दैट. सो अब आप वहां टेस्ट लिखोगे, उस चीज का डेली प्रैक्टिस करोगे जो आपका वीक एरिया है. अगर आपका ऐसे स्ट्रांग है तो नो नीड टू हैव प्रैक्टिस. अगर आप तो ऑप्शनल ज्यादा स्ट्रांग है तो नो नीड टू हैव प्रैक्टिस. अगर आपका पेपर 3 वीक है तो वीक क्या है? नॉलेज है, तभी लैक ऑफ नॉलेज. तो नॉलेज बढ़ाओगे आप या आंसर लिखोगे? दिस. सो देयर शुड बी एडिक्वेट राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस. वो आपको टेस्ट सीरीज से ही हो जाएगा या PYQ से ही हो जाएगा या आप खुद ही कर सकते हो. बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वीकनेस इन योर एग्जामिनेशन, बी इट प्रीलिम्स और मेंस, फर्स्ट इज कॉल्ड नॉलेज. दिस इट इज की फैक्टर. दिस यस, हो सकता है कि नॉलेज था, हमने प्रैक्टिस नहीं किया. तो वी आर सेइंग कि एडिक्वेट प्रैक्टिस होना चाहिए. और एडिक्वेट प्रैक्टिस वो डेली आंसर राइटिंग नहीं होता है. हाँ, अगर आपका राइटिंग काफ़ी वीक है, राइट. अब जैसे एक 68 रैंकर है, दिस 68 रैंकर, तो शी हैड लिटरेचर बैकग्राउंड. लिटरेचर बैकग्राउंड, शी रोट सम बुक्स ऑल्सो. तो उससे ये जब पूछा गया कि हाउ यू प्रैक्टिस फॉर एसे, तो शी सेड कि आई हैड लिटरेचर बैकग्राउंड, सो आई हैड नो प्रॉब्लम इन राइटिंग एसे. तो शी विल नॉट प्रैक्टिस. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, apart from, there are 2 things, right? This one is called and I draw like this. So हमारे टाइम पे ड्राइंग होता नहीं था स्कूल में. Anyhow, so generally I draw like this. Suppose you, और ये है यूपीएससी. अभी तक हम जो बात कर रहे थे वो किसके बारे में कर रहे थे? यूपीएससी के बारे में. आपके बारे में नहीं बात कर रहे थे. बट आपका अपना क्या है? तो यूपीएससी से इसको आपको कंपेयर करना पड़ेगा. राइट. कहीं ना कहीं आपके अंदर कोई स्ट्रेंथ है तभी आप आए हैं. दैट्स वाई यू आर ट्राइंग टू प्रिपेयर फॉर यूपीएससी. वो आपको पता है, हमें नहीं पता है, किसी को नहीं पता है, आपके फ्रेंड्स को भी नहीं पता है. क्यों? जब आपने अपने फ्रेंड से बोला होगा कि मैं आईएएस का प्रिपरेशन करना चाहता हूँ, तो वो थोड़ा सा मतलब कुछ अलग रिएक्शन दिया होगा, इजंट इट? और आप बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रेंडली है तो बोले तेरे से नहीं होगा. नो, ऐसे भी बोल सकता है. तो खासकर आपके पड़ोसी तो बोलते ही नो कि गया है दिल्ली, देखते हैं क्या करता है. तो बेसिकली वी हैव टू नो दिस. लेट्स से दैट कि दिस यू नो योरसेल्फ बेटर ना. आप अपने आप को कभी भी अंडर एस्टिमेट मत करो दिस, बट कभी भी ओवर एस्टिमेट. डू नॉट डू ओवर एस्टिमेट, डू नॉट डू अंडर एस्टिमेट. वीकनेस हर आदमी के अंदर होता है. आपका कुछ ना कुछ एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड तो होगा ही. दिस उस एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड से आप चलो, उस स्टैंड से चलो कॉन्फिडेंस के लिए. एंड यू ट्राई टू मैच विथ यूपीएससी पेपर्स, प्रीलिम्स, मेंस, जीएस, ऑप्शनल, एसे, ऑल दिस थिंग्स. This and that will decide. This is how we can say about. So this is what optional with GS. This we can say that different GS module courses. Yes, someone asking whether different difficult question to answer. Different GS module courses or single GS course. Right. See, both have their own advantages and disadvantages. मॉड्यूल कोर्स में ये होता है कि एक मॉड्यूल को आपको काफ़ी फोकस मिलता है और उस मॉड्यूल को करते करते आपको टाइम थोड़ा ज़्यादा लग सकता है. दिस और वो मॉड्यूल का गाइडेंस सेक्टोरल होता है. अगर कोई मॉड्यूल आप ज्वाइन करते हैं तो गाइडेंस उस मॉड्यूल से रिलेटेड होता है. पूरा कोर्स का एडवांटेज ये होता है, मतलब मॉड्यूल का एडवांटेज है इन डेप्थ नॉलेज, इट टेक्स टाइम, लैक ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज गाइडेंस फॉर ऑल. सारे कोर्स का फ़ायदा ये होता है कि आपको पूरा एक तरीके से सारे सब्जेक्ट्स पे गाइडेंस होता है. एज वी हैव टोल्ड दैट कि अगर आप एवरेज भी आते हैं 53 to 55% एवरेज, सो इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज गाइडेंस फॉर एंटायर कोर्स गिव्स यू दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी. दिस एंड दैट्स वाई लेट्स से दैट इट कैन हैव इट्स ओन एडवांटेज. राइट. दैट्स वाई यू विल फाइंड दैट कि फाउंडेशन कोर्स मीन्स कि one course is more popular than module courses. This most of the people they do, they can say that foundation course. Some people go by module wise depending on their strengths and weaknesses. This you can say. So we can say both aspect have, but we will still give preference to foundation because it gives you entire guidance. Like say prelims also, mains oriented also, writing practices also, current also, current developments also. If you get at one place with mentoring, faculties, etc., so it results into, let's say, having dependence on one aspect, getting everything. So that way we can consider, this is what we can say. So these are some questions. Any other question from online students? And then you can also have any question. Any question? Yes, yes.
Is it okay to plan a study? Is it okay to plan a study schedule according to test series, like the topic wise test series?
Yes, this should come when you have completed the course. Right? Suppose you have completed the course, then it should come. Right? Like say the way Tucker schedule is there, accordingly you can plan yourself for 1 year.
Yes, sir.
This and since let's say that it is 1 year, then second cycle is also there. So that can be followed. So tests, basically Tucker tests can be the schedule that you can plan accordingly. This.
And so adding to that, like GS preparation, adding optional subject, if both preparations are like foundation courses are done, then should we do it like both GS, a subject of GS and optional subject should be done on the same day, or the days should be divided?
Yes. These are questions after post foundation basically. Right. So let's say that you can divide your day, right, depending on priority. So I will say that optional you can give, let's say 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. GS you can give 4 to 6 hours. Between that, let's say.
Yes, sir.
This, why you should divide? Because reading one subject entire day will be less productive. This. But if you divide and read other subject, productivity increases. Because it changes the, let's say, topics, the monotony will be less. Right. So we should study both, not one. Today optional I studied, then tomorrow I will study GS. It is not in that. First. Second, from that also, since optional was not part of our strategy, but if you add optional also in preparation of integrated strategy, this, it will further minimize your time, depending on which optional you have. If you have humanities as optional, in humanities, GS, it has a strong link, like geography has a strong link with GS, public administration has a strong link, political science. So when we study your optional and then topics of GS, let's say match with optional, so those topics and optional should be prepared together. Like for PA we say that, PA so we say that when you prepare GS paper second, so you prepare also public administration paper second. And since both, let's say that ethics, you should also prepare together. Because there are in this optional, there are some topics which are directly linked to ethics paper. Same thing can happen with political science also. This, so that way we will tell. Yes?
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any question? Right. So should we finish? So let's finish and let's think that it helps you in devising a right strategy. And that right strategy means, let's say, it should be based on information, right, objective standards about UPSC, your strengths and weaknesses. That is what we mean by right strategy. Like there is nothing called shortcut, you know that? This, by knowing all these things. Everything has its own stage, its own time. You have to wait for that time. Means at foundation stage, do not try to behave like advanced stage. That time will also come. The only thing is that you have to go through the process. So from tomorrow we will start our process. We'll finish here. Yes.
जैसे इस साल जो मेरिट लिस्ट आया उसमें मेरा 9 मार्क्स से रह गया, मतलब ओवरऑल फाइनल लिस्ट में, क्योंकि जो GS 3 था उसमें थोड़ा कम मार्क्स मिला था ओवरऑल में, और इंटरव्यू में अच्छा मार्क्स था 187, और बट GS 3 में इस बार हर एक स्टूडेंट का आई थिंक कम मार्क्स मिला, मुझे थोड़ा कम मार्क्स मिला था। और
GS 3
GS 3 में
यस।
और अभी यहाँ पे ड्रीम 400 का टेस्ट हुआ जिसमें फर्स्ट रैंक हुआ था, स्कॉलरशिप मिला था, मैं यहाँ पे ज्वाइन किया हूँ।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
तो यहाँ पे जितने
you are the person you come generally first second.
Yes sir, चंद्रशेखर दिस आई एम
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
So she comes second. Okay, so chalo, good to see you both. Right. So every time they come first. Right, yes.
इस बार 9 मार्क्स से रह गया, मतलब दिस इज माई फर्स्ट अटैम्प्ट, मतलब सेल्फ स्टडी कर रहे थे, मतलब कॉलेज के टाइम से प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट था, बट इस बार थोड़ा 9 मार्क्स से था।
लेट्स सी इस बार इम्प्रूव होगा।
ये सर हम आपसे मिले भी थे ऑफिस में।
यस यस, सो इस बार आई थिंक अपीयरिंग।
यस सर, इस बार फिर से दे रहे थे।
Yes. So we have is this time this called GS. What we can say? We have started new mains guidance program.
यस
Right. So we'll see you try to improve your paper 3.
यस।
Right. In fact, we'll try to improve your paper 4 also.
पेपर 4 में अच्छा मार्क्स था, मैंने लेक्चर्स आपके ही देखे थे और मेरे पास उसका नोट्स था जो मार्केट्स में अवेलेबल है, वो उसके थ्रू किया था। मेरे पास तो पुराना नोट्स था, 2019 का नोट्स था मैं, क्योंकि मैं तभी फर्स्ट ईयर कॉलेज में गया था तो उसी से कर रहा था।
Yes,
वो
yes.
काम किया इस बार।
इस बार ओवरऑल काम करेगा, पेपर सेकंड भी करेगा। सो होप कि इस बार बेहतर आएगा मार्क्स। ठीक है, ओके देन, ऑल द बेस्ट।